Team that's become polarizing, and that is the Minnesota Vikings, Colin. I don't know how or when or where it happened, but JJ McCarthy has become a lightning rod here for the Vikings in the offseason. Both of us are high on them, but here's Dante Culpepper, a former Viking, saying regarding McCarthy, he looks great. He has that it factor. I don't think it'll be a hard transition for him in the NFL. Culpepper later added, I think he's going to tear up the league. I don't know if we're looking for like the next guy or we're looking for offseason stories, but every week there's something with JJ McCarthy, who has not thrown a pass since he was drafted, 15 months ago.
And you got to be careful. Like this is the silly season, right? You're getting all these reports. Some of it you can buy into. I mean, Shadur's accuracy, I know it's against backups, but he was throwing to backups. So, that's impressive. And you do see, I've seen Cam Ward footage, and you're like, oh, dude, that dude is it. He's got it. And there are guys that blow you away. I mean, we'll get to this later. Cooper Flagg had a tryout. He had his sort of workout with the Mavericks yesterday, and they're like, oh, he's better than we thought. You can see some stuff, even if you're not competing against anybody. You're just doing a workout for an NBA team. You can see things. But, it's a whole different ballgame. I've said about JJ McCarthy, played with a lead, great O-line, amazing running game, best coach in every game, rarely trailed, asked to make maybe 1 to 2 throws a game. That's not the NFL. That is nothing. Even if you have a good team, you got to make about 8 throws a game. If you're Mahomes, you got 7, 8 plays, you got to be special. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, okay. I wanted to do this clip because I made one the other day that's posting. I don't know. I forget. I'm going to try to make the order make sense. But where Colin had some insider information that JJ McCarthy is a work in progress. And then now we have this clip, Dante Culpepper, who obviously is, his opinion can only mean so much in this type of situation, considering, the circumstances that JJ McCarthy looks great. He has an it factor, etc., etc. And I find it very interesting. I've talked about this a lot recently because this is when all of these things are at their peak because we don't have the games to break down and whatnot. When we trust what we hear versus when we don't trust what we hear, when it's appropriate, when someone like a Culpepper is telling the truth and when he's not. We did this with Brock Purdy, where it's you hear George Kittle say, this guy's awesome, he's great, he's, this, that, and third, and they're like, well, who cares? And then we hear Puka Nacua say, they shouldn't really pay him that much money. And they're like, well, see, Puka knows, and it's like, well, why is his opinion worth more than someone else's opinion? And when is a teammate telling the truth versus just pumping his teammate up or being a good soldier for his organization? And we hear all this stuff, and it's just like, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I personally try my best. I think I'm pretty decent at it, but I'm not having direct conversations with some of these insiders. Maybe one day I'll have that fortune, that luck to be able to do that type of stuff, but I don't, so I kind of have to try my best to read between the lines here with all of this. And I mean, if I had to guess, JJ McCarthy is just showing a little bit of everything right now. He's showing the highs, he's showing the mediums, he's showing the lows. He's showing some awesome moments, he's showing some that was pretty good, and some I don't know, we can't have that happen, which makes sense. Which is okay. And when Colin's kind of talking about, I need a player to do X, Y, and Z, and I haven't seen him do it. Here's the reality. Not every quarterback, not every player is able to wow you from the jump. That's not their style of game. It's not how, in especially in a more traditional practice setting, it's not their skill set isn't set up to be able to emphasize that, magnify that, really be isolated in a way where you could really point to it. I mean, let's just use Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts really is such a perfect example of this right now because obviously his stock is at an all-time high, right? He's literally just won the Super Bowl MVP. And yet so much at what he does, I'm not so sure in a traditional practice, in a traditional camp, that he'll be able to wow you, because he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest. He doesn't have a cannon. He's not throwing all over the field like it's nothing. That's not what he does. That's not what makes him special. But yet he's clearly a great quarterback. And we can debate, is he top this, top that? Doesn't matter. He's clearly a great quarterback. If you don't think he's a great quarterback, well then, you know what? Then best of luck thinking JJ McCarthy is a great quarterback, all right? I mean, like, if you can't see the special that someone like a Hurts brings, it's like, well, then you're going to struggle to actually see the special that a JJ McCarthy can bring. And again, I love the Josh Allens of the world, the Lamar Jackson, the Mahomes, the Tom Brady's. Like, I love these guys that you're watching and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is insanity. I would have done anything to be that guy for just 1 second on a field, just to feel the power that you are literally just bigger, stronger, faster than every single person on the field. It's just, I've only had that feeling kind of like once, and it was when you start aging out of an age group. And my one friend who was, technically my same age, but didn't have the cutoff. And I remember he got to play. I had to go to the next level, and he got to play on the young level, and he dominated. And it was just like, of course you dominated, man. Like, you're 9 feet taller than all these guys. Like, you shouldn't actually be there. I'm playing with grown men now, and I'm not even there yet. So what the heck? And some of these guys have that, and that's not going to be JJ McCarthy, but that's okay. That's okay. He can still have insane success in the NFL. He can still lead a team to victories. Okay, and what Colin is saying, because to stick with the Jalen Hurts comparison, about you got to make 7, 8, big throws a game. It's an arbitrary number in a lot of ways, but I get the point that he's trying to make. But it is true that you can criticize a Jalen Hurts for not being able to do X, Y, and Z, and not being as great of a passer as a Joe Burrow, and he's strong, but not as strong as a Josh Allen, etc., etc. But there are plenty of key points in a game, in a gotta-have-it moment, and Jalen Hurts does make that throw. There'll absolutely be a huge moment where it's 3rd and 4, the game is kind of in the balance, or you're going to ice the game, and if you don't, you're going to give the ball back, whatever it is. And he does. They put the ball in his hands, and he makes it. He makes it. The one moment that for whatever reason, probably because it was the first game of the season against the Green Bay Packers. It was an ugly game, a sloppy game. He may have fumbled through some interception. I know he definitely had some turnovers. It was a weird game, slippery field. But there was moments, and a gotta-have-it moment. And it was just like, and they put the ball in his hands. He made a strike to Devontae. Boom, catch, converted. And I don't know if that was to either just ice the game or not give the ball back, or if that was to now kick a field goal, touchdown, and now go up enough where it's like, all right, they're going to win the game. But, and so there's certain moments in the game where it's like, it's kind of funny where it's just like the whole game did not matter up until this very point. And it's like, you got to convert this down. It's not even so much like we think about some of these things where it's like, got to score a touchdown, you're down by 2 or whatever, and you got to get in field goal range. And it's like, we think of these big dramatic moments, but like sometimes it's really just like, it's the beginning of a drive. You really need to sustain a drive right now. You got to get down the field. The clock is winding down at this point. There's only 6 minutes left. There's only so many possessions. You might not even get the ball back again. And you had 2 kind of flat first down, a first down and a second down, and now it's 3rd and 7, and it's like, you can't punt here. You got to convert this down. And sometimes you don't always think about that moment. And it's just like, do you convert? Do you pick it up with your legs? Something that to stick with Jalen Hurts could do. What do you do in those moments that don't always seem so big? Even though they're significantly bigger than you may at first glance. And it's like, to automatically assume that JJ McCarthy can't make that. Like, can JJ McCarthy scramble for 10 seconds and throw a dart as the clock is running down, right in the corner of the end zone to a receiver? It's like, I don't know. And just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that it can't happen. But let's not pretend that that's continuously what makes Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes special. Year after year after year, game after game after game. Like, that's not necessarily the case. Or is it, hey, this team is trash, he's bad, we got to put the whole team on his back, on Josh Allen's back, on Lamar's back? Like, do all these quarterbacks have some of those moments? Absolutely. Is that what makes them special? Absolutely. Is that what consistently makes them great and why they win? No. It's just not. It's really not. I mean, in a lot of ways it could be kind of elementary. Look at the game-winning drive in the Super Bowl. I mean, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is the game-winning drive in the Super Bowl for Patrick Mahomes against the 49ers. It was pretty elementary when it all boils down to it. And it was amazing play calling. And the touchdown pass was to a wide open walk-in receiver. It wasn't something absolutely spectacular where it was like out of a Disney Channel movie where Patrick Mahomes is juking and jumping over someone and leaping. And as he's throwing the ball, he's getting hit and it hits the fingertips of the receiver. It's like, it's not happening. I mean, it's just really not. It's really not. So, you know, we don't have to get too lost. We can appreciate those moments and they're exciting. And it's not to say that Super Bowl as a whole didn't have some of that to a degree. But like we can stop pretending like that's happening 5, 6, 7, 8 times a game. And that and again, like the last point that I'll say is like we have to stop pretending that you're either literally one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time or you're just nothing. Like, how did we get to a place where there's no in between? Until we have an NFL that has like 18 all-time great quarterbacks at a time, like, it's just not what's going to be. You know, like, it's the conversation just can't be what it is right now. But it's funny that J-Mac brought this up because I said the same thing where it's just like somehow JJ McCarthy has become such a polarizing figure. And I think it's really nothing to do with him at all, but it really just has to do with the fact that we saw how great this Vikings team can be, and so it's really like the piece that's being changed is JJ McCarthy. So it's like, all right, like if this team does not succeed, they'll be able to be like, that's JJ. You know, there's no one else. It was JJ. And if you're a Vikings fan, it's actually a great place to be in, man. I mean, it really is, and it's I feel like there's going to be a lot of extra eyes on the Vikings team this year, especially if they win. If they fail and struggle, I think the Vikings, unfortunately, could become just one of those, like, whatever, and just kind of move on. Because even when they were winning with Sam Darnold, it was a struggle to find content, and I was always trying my best to do so. I feel like if they're winning, there'll be a lot of momentum behind them. If they're losing, I feel like there won't be a lot of deep dives of, like, what's going wrong with the Vikings. They'll just be like, I told you so, JJ McCarthy, not good enough, blah, 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 blah. And then it'll kind of just like fade away. Because even when the Commanders were winning a lot and Jane Daniels was balling, there was a struggle as well. But I am curious. I will be, on the lookout for that. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about JJ McCarthy? Now the reports that he's looking great. He has that it factor. But Colin's like, nah, I don't care. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.